Yeah, look, tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood? Yeah, I just hit a Mikey for the juice. Yeah, ain't no capping, I'ma tell the truth. I've been winning for so long, it's hard to lose. Deal, be my source, Christian like Dior. Yeah, I can't start when I'm far, I just get back up. Yeah, I've been quiet all along on my TP toes. Yeah, I can't keep it to myself, I just give and go. I'm a visionist, yeah, you can't picture this, yeah. Ain't no way you cannot work me, boy, I live for this. Yeah, sipping essential, that's the essentials, I'm influential. Yeah, straight fundamental, that's fundamental, on instrumentals. Yeah, speed of the tempo, yeah, we got potential. Shoot a movie like I'm Denzel, running my route to the end zone. And they sticking to find me, man, you know where to find me. I'm tryna get me a Grammy so I can dedicate it to my granny. Look, tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood? Yeah, I just hit a Mikey for the juice. Yeah, ain't no capping, I'ma tell the truth. I've been winning for so long, it's hard to lose. Deal, be my source, Christian like Dior. Yeah, I can't start when I'm far, I just get back up. Yeah, I've been quiet all along on my TP toes. Yeah, I can't keep it to myself, I just give and go. Yeah, I just turn my L's into W's. Yeah, I just told my sins, yeah, I'm done with you. Yeah, stay in your lane, don't you pick and choose. I can't waste my time, I got a lot to lose. To the game that we all on, they was doubting us all along. Now we charting in Hong Kong, what competition, they all gone. Yes, stress, play the game like it's chess. We next, that's a check, over stripes, yeah, yeah. Look, tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood? Tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood? Yeah, look, tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood? Yeah, I just hit a Mikey for the juice. Yeah, ain't no capping, I'ma tell the truth. I've been winning for so long, it's hard to lose. Deal, be my source, Christian like Dior. Yeah, I can't start when I'm far, I just get back up. Yeah, I've been quiet all along on my TP toes. Yeah, I can't keep it to myself, I just give and go. I'm a visionist, yeah, you can't picture this, yeah. Ain't no way you cannot work me, boy, I live for this. Yeah, sipping essential, that's the essentials, I'm influential. Yeah, straight fundamental, that's fundamental, on instrumentals. Yeah, speed of the tempo, yeah, we got potential. Shoot a movie like I'm Denzel, running my route to the end zone. And they sticking to find me, man, you know where to find me. I'm tryna get me a Grammy so I can dedicate it to my granny. Look, tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood? Yeah, I just hit a Mikey for the juice. Yeah, ain't no capping, I'ma tell the truth. I've been winning for so long, it's hard to lose. Deal, be my source, Christian like Dior. Yeah, I can't start when I'm far, I just get back up. Yeah, I've been quiet all along on my TP toes. Yeah, I can't keep it to myself, I just give and go. Yeah, I just turn my L's into W's. Yeah, I just told my sins, yeah, I'm done with you. Yeah, stay in your lane, don't you pick and choose. I can't waste my time, I got a lot to lose. To the game that we all on, they was doubting us all along. Now we charting in Hong Kong, what competition, they all gone. Yes, stress, play the game like it's chess. We next, that's a check, over stripes, yeah, yeah. Look, tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood? Tell me what's the vibes, what's the mood?
Hey, what's going on, folks, and welcome to the Deceptor Lab. It's your boy Freezing here with the weekly live stream. And man, honestly, I don't know if you guys saw that newsletter today. A little bit more info about HQ18, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit now. I will give you this disclaimer ahead of time. We hadn't started testing anything at our level. Now, Space Ape has been testing a lot of that stuff. We hadn't at the play tested level yet. But I'll give you my opinions on it anyway, as I always do, just based on what I think. Sorry for last week, man. I actually found out they made some adjustments to the software that I use for OBS Studio, which is what I use to live stream with. And I did not realize that I didn't hear the... You see you guys not getting any sound? Hey, alright. Try me now. You guys getting any sound? Let's see. Let me go into my settings real quick. Okay, now you got me. Yeah, I started off... I had it on mute for a second. I always do that when I got my music running. So, all right, cool. So we good. But yeah, man, so we gonna look at some of the stuff that came out in the newsletter for HQ18 this go around. Honestly, there's some stuff I'm excited about. There's some stuff that I'm not excited about. We'll talk about all of it, man. As we always do. I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it, and I'll go ahead and hop into the newsletter. All right, week 2 with a saga. Had a nice relaxing event. I actually made a lot of progress on the event last week because, you know what, honestly, once I get to real close to the point of completing a 10K event like that, I just go into zone 15 and I lose all my battles on purpose. I do as much damage as I can and I try to get all the XP. So that was cool. This week is a 750K event, and honestly, I want to hear what you guys think about it, man. Because it's supposed to be. I'll tell you what's been going on in the Alliance Council. So the Alliance Council, if you guys aren't aware, or if you guys aren't a part, is where all the different major Alliance families, they put players in there to represent them on their behalf. And they just kind of talk about different topics within the game. And so the huge conversation has been about player burnout. And so they're trying to adjust that schedule a little bit so that we're not always doing, 1.5 million point events, 2 million point events, stuff like that. So looking at the schedule, if you guys have seen it, let me know in the comments what you think of the new schedule. Obviously the saga is 8 weeks long now. I think it's a great thing. But I'm willing to hear what you guys say about it, and I can give that feedback to Space Ape as well. Alright, but as far as this week's event, it's called Mortal Kombat. Like I said, 750K event. I'm looking forward to this one, man. This is probably one of my ones I'm looking forward to most in the saga. 500 5-star combat shards coming out this go around. And in addition to your typical stuff, you get your 2,500 4-star shards, which I need because that's going to be the missing piece that I need to finally get my 5-star Nemesis Prime. So I should see my 5-star Nemesis Prime sometime next week based off of that. But I do need those 2,500 4-star shards. You got 5,000 3-star shards and 50,000 premium crystal shards, G-Metal Power Core, and 6 Power Core chips, and up to 250,000 combat spark, which we can use. And I'll talk about that a little bit later because I think this is actually probably the best part of the saga because you're starting off with the 250,000 combat chips, and then later on you're gonna actually have your combat event for the new combat bot. I just started testing the new combat today. I have to say, I like it so far. We'll see how it ends up. Once I know that that's the finalized version, I'll send that guy out to you guys in a video or even on a live stream. But the 250,000 spark that we're gonna get, regular spark, I gotta burn some spark this week so I don't cap out during the event. So I'll take care of that, and I'll actually show you guys later on what it is that I'm working on, and maybe it's something you'll be interested in too. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Typical event battle zones, and you can see the totalizer chart, prize chart. Yeah, I'm really looking. I think I might be looking forward to this one more than any other event in the saga. All right, so some game updates. So last week when I missed my live stream because I was actually didn't get my studio equipment to work, one of the things that came to the game was the combiner skip, and Texas Hammer, one of my playtesters and one of my good friends in playtest, one of the things that he put out here was this graphic just telling you how the combiner skip works. Long story short, you don't get to skip over needing the combiner spark. And this is one of the reasons why I always advocated for the continued combiner spark, because when you look through this list of stuff that they got for HQ18, one of the things we're looking at is combiners going to level 25. So that's good and bad to a certain extent. I think that that's going to cause further delays and possibly having a 5-star combiner. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the graphics explains to you how the combiner skip works. And we'll also talk a little bit later on about the squad cooldown skip. Alright, for HQ18. So HQ18 is going to come out in different batches. Space Ape is going to talk about this a little bit more on their live stream tomorrow. So make sure you don't miss that one. That sounds like that's going to be a really big one. I don't have any details for it yet, but what I do know is they plan on talking about each of these items that they put in the newsletter. And so some of the buildings that you're going to receive for a new level initially will be headquarters, energon storage and harvesters, alloy storage and harvesters, walls, autocannons, mortars, stasis mines, scanner, and missile launchers. Now, I will say this. I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine, and we were trying to make plans for how we're gonna use our building skips. And I think one of the things that you really got to look at is what items are gonna work during your wars and which ones aren't. And so some of the things we started talking about, Ore 13, you don't want to go without Ore 13. I'm probably using a skip on that so I don't have to wind up losing out on Ore 13. Shield generators, same thing. So there's going to be a couple of items that I'm going to prioritize. I'm probably going to prioritize MDS. So really you just got to kind of be smart about a bunch of that stuff. We'll look through it, and especially because it's been a while since we had to go through a HQ upgrade. I was kind of grinding through some of the elimination mode stuff this weekend because I actually, up until the day that they released HQ18, I'm now in a position where I want to go in there and pull XP, use the additional Z energon that I have for XP. So yeah, that's what we're really talking about. With HQ18 also, so they're going to have a couple of items that are going to come to the game, new power cores. So it'll be 2 new build bot cores. I haven't seen any of this stuff yet, but if I had to take a guess, I think one of them is probably going to be anti-heal. And so they said it's going to be 1 new headquarters core, and I think that's well overdue. Honestly, the headquarters power cores we have now, the game has outgrown them, I feel like. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. And Matt Pauley actually is kind of agreeing with what I'm saying. So when we were talking about what things you should upgrade, Ore 13, Shield, Outpost, that's one that came up on my list too. The Outpost could definitely be one, and the combiner beacon. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot to think about. We had a lot of conversation about it in my alliance this past week. Lots of different variables, but it's one of those things we'll come back to and kind of figure it out. It really just depends on what they release first. But what I don't want everybody to do is just start going up there and just run all 7 skips on on some dumb stuff, man. Like I don't want to just go through and run through energon harvesters and storage and stuff like that. I think I can wait that one out. Let's see, defensive Titan effects, and they already showed some of the graphics for that. But when you go and use a certain Titan, then they'll have Titan themed base colors and stuff like that. Bot levels will go up to 67. So I'm looking forward to that. I actually, who did I max? I actually maxed out Brawl this past weekend, so I was happy about that. I'm not sure how much usage he's gonna get by the time HQ18 comes, but he's ready to go when it does come. So, and I can carry him up to level 67 at some point. And like I said, 3 and 4 star combiners. So 3-star combiners are now gonna go up to 20. And 4 stars are going to go up to level 25. So my advice to you guys is hold on to your combiner skips, because you're gonna wind up needing them. If you got a bunch of combiners maxed up right now, I'm probably gonna put mine on Galvatronus, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Balance changes. They're gonna be various balance changes. I imagine they're gonna share that on their live stream tomorrow. And there's also going to be a new welcome gift. So if you scroll back up to the beginning of the newsletter, one of the things I think is driving, there's a drive right now on Space Ape's part for new players. And I think the reason for that is a lot of the players, if you look at the very first paragraph, they're talking about that we lost a Transformers game. I think it was it Forged to Fight that went down. They announced was going down earlier this week. And so they're trying to pull in some of those guys from that game. And honestly, it's a lot of work to come up there if you're just now starting out on Earth Wars. So they're going to give a really nice welcome gift. And you can actually see all of the things that players are going to get there. This Shard, Spark, Alloy, Energon, all the things that most of us didn't have to start out with, just to try to give them a good jump start on the game. And to get them some aid for the early steps. And then we've already been talking about they got some toy giveaways coming up. 2 of them going to be from the content creators. 2 are going to be for VIP players. 2 for Discord members and VIP. And they said that giveaway should start on Friday. And so yeah. And they're going to give out an exclusive for new players. So yeah. So a lot of good information. I'm looking forward to the Space Ape stream tomorrow. So make sure you guys check that out if you already have their updates for that. Content Creator Corner, Sunstreak Awaza had a really good one. And I think that's from, say that's from one of his live streams last week, but he had his 5-star wish list. Like I put mines out there, and some of them are not necessarily realistic per se, based off of what I think Space Ape's trying to do, but I still got stuff I want. I want to see that Sentius Malice. I want to go see a couple of different bots. I want to see Cutthroat for sure. So if a vote comes up, please go in there and vote for Cutthroat, and I'll show you why later on. That I think he's a little underpowered at his 4-star level for everything that's going on now and everything that's yet to come. But Waza had a really good list, so check it out on his channel as well if you haven't already. In addition to the other content creators, Ariel DJ Hart, Engineer Hoist, Grind Time Soldier, and like I already said, Sunstreak Awaza. Community Corner, as always, got some cool artwork up there. And as far as bug fixes, a lot of players are having some issues with crashing. I imagine they're pushing out a patch for that. I think that's going to be a Thursday patch thing. And then we got the saga schedule again. Like I said, 8-week saga looks really good. This week we're going to have the 5-star combat shards, and then individual totalizer next week before we jump into a 1.5 to 2 mil event, which is going to be pretty cool because it's going to be prime core shards and new combat. Like I said, new combat looks pretty good so far. But yeah, so I like these 8-week sagas, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, That's what we got going on, and that's all we really got for the news, other than the fact that, like I already mentioned, Space Ape's going to have their live stream, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all the normal avenues that they usually use. And that's everything for the news. Alright, so let's take a look in the chat and see who all we got here. So first off, thank you guys up there for just kind of verifying my checking out my sound and everything like that, and checking out to make sure that the live stream actually started. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for that. Matt Polly, thanks a lot. Let's see, Lord Avix was first in the chat, followed by Professional Husky. And so thank you guys for joining. If you guys didn't know, Professional Husky is also Transformers Earth Wars, unofficial content creator like myself. I've got Husky's link in my bio to my page. Check him out. He does a lot of short videos and everything like that, so that you can actually go in there and just see things really, really quickly. Like this, the day he did one just running through the newsletter and stuff real quick. Really, really cool. Like I said, Matt Polly's in there. Action Will, my teammate over there at Defiant Little Horde. What's going on, man? Chris Truden is in there. Casey Gibson. Let's see who else. But yeah, it's let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. Yeah, and looks like that's what we got so far. So let's see, what are you guys in here talking about? Let's see. Professional Husky says, I'm concerned about the stuff for new players. I think Matt Polly's got a point in there. I think that new player bundle, I think, is good. I think it's going to be something that's going to help them catch up and stay engaged, because, a couple of people up there, that's who I missed. Mike Robertson is up there in the game, so that's like he's actually a pretty new player. I want to say he's like HQ 10 or 11, and it's tough out there, for brand new players. I actually went through around the time that they had the new player bundles, when they first introduced that first round of new player bundles, and I said that it's still kind of tough. So I'm excited for the new players that might be coming on board, that are gonna get some of this new stuff and try to get them through some of the levels quickly. But yeah, let's see. Rippin' Vintage is also in the chat, and he asked the question, do you think they will make us use Z-Energon to upgrade to level 18? Yeah, and so here's the thing. Let me go to the game screen real quick, because one of the things that you already see, so I'm assuming you're talking about the HQ itself. I think you're going to use Z-Energon for everything, but at a minimum, you're starting to see that they already kind of stuck the upgrade in there for MDS, and you can see that one sitting up there at 120,000. So overall, I don't think they're going to try to go overboard with the Z-Energon, but you are going to have to use a substantial amount of Z-Energon. I think if you use the correct strategies for it in Zen farming, I think you'll be fine. But I say for me, I think I got to the point. I think this past week I did about 500k in Z-Energon, and I'm working on next week where I think I can get even more. I'm just gonna keep waiting until I get a full amount of both Ore 13 and also a full amount of fuel cells to go in there and hammer out those Z farming battles. So I think that's what it's gonna be. I think everything's gonna use Z-Energon. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet from the playtest side, but yeah, I think that's how it's gonna go. Lord Avix says that we were talking about the different HQ cores, and Lord Avix says he still likes the G Metal adaptive shielding. Honestly, I think that's probably the best of them of what we've got. I still need to upgrade mines. I just got mines recently, but yeah, anything that can keep you held up, I definitely like. Chris Truden says he ranked up Galvatronus to 4-star before upgrading. Yeah, no, that's what I did too. Just because man, he's really, really good, and I think if they put him up there at level 25, he's gonna be really, really good as well, especially with everything that's gonna be going on for the 5-star. For levels 21 through 25 is what I was trying to say. I'll actually let me switch over to, because I'm on a test server right now. Let me go switch over to the main server, and I'll actually show my Galvatronus that I got right now. I think he's cooking to level 14 right now, man. So pretty good stuff. So let's see, going to the Combiner Lab. And yeah, so he's cooking in level 14. I mean, already he's pretty good. My goal here is to try to, so if he hits 14 in a day and a half, I should be able to have him to level 20 before the end of the saga. And so yeah, I should be able to have him to level 20 like exactly at the end of the saga. That's crazy. So that means when HQ18 does come out, because it's supposed to come out this saga, I believe, then I'll be able to go and use my combiner skips. So that's my advice to you guys. Hold on to those combiner skips for stuff like that, because as you can see, looking through my other combiners, I got a bunch of 3 stars. I'm not gonna be able to use that in Prime League Hard. Let's be honest. The only one I really use is Overlord, and I use Tripredacus on the base 1, base 2s right now, currently in hard mode. In addition, I haven't had a chance to use Galvatronus because I need to level them up, but it will be Galvatronus and Tripredacus to kind of make me a decent team to go into Prime League hard mode with. So that's what I'm looking at. So hopefully that means everybody will stop complaining about, because a lot of the whales get upset about us getting combiner sparks in advance. Well, hopefully with 5 more levels to do on each of your combiners, hopefully that'll quiet them down for a little bit. But I think I'm just gonna focus on those 3: Galvatronus, Tripredacus, and I don't have to focus on Overlord. He's already good to go. Let's see. Chris Truden says, didn't HQ17 need Zen to upgrade the HQ? Yeah, it did. It needed Zen for everything, the Z Energon. So yeah, and honestly, the way Space Ape has been talking about it, it should be pretty much the same as it was for HQ17. They said the values aren't going to be any higher than HQ17 for as far in terms of how much Z Energon you have to spend. I think it'll be maybe tomorrow they'll release something and talk about it. I hope they do, because I know everybody's been asking like crazy. Rippin' Vintage says, I was thinking they might charge like 1 million. I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought they were too. I thought they were going to charge something crazy, and it was going to take you a really, really long time to upgrade. But nah, I think they're being pretty reasonable about that part. They want to make the game a little bit more difficult, but they want to do it smartly, and that's where the balance changes all coming into play. Let's see. Chris Truden says he said something about 2.5 million, and anything above goes to XP. That's a good plan to doing it. You can see mine's right now. I got mine's at 2.8 mil Z Energon, and I just do. I put mine as close to max as possible, and then I go use 100k at a time to keep it down. So I just maxed out for the first time this week, and then that's what I was kind of looking at. And Matt Polly says he just went into his first ever Prime League war. So yeah, man, yes, I honestly thought you had been doing Prime League for a while. You always talk, you're always really knowledgeable about the stuff you're talking about. And I see you a lot of times in Suntrika Waza's chat as well as mine. So yeah, I honestly thought you. So, but yeah, man, just keep hammering away at it, man. Prime League is first off, it's about to have some war effects changes, and the new war effects changes that we're testing are actually pretty difficult. So just keep working on all your cons, and as soon as you see any of the changes to Prime League hard mode, just start getting your bots ready and coming up with good strategies for it. So hopefully I'll be able to talk to you guys about that pretty soon. Alright, so I'm going to take a look at, show you guys what I'm working on right now. So this one I'm happy about. So this is what I was saying earlier. I actually maxed out my 5-star bro. Hadn't had him that long. But yeah, I got him to level 65 this weekend. G Metal XP cored him up. And yeah, man, yeah, I mean that's his stats up there maxed out. Not too bad. I've been holding off because I thought about doing Fireline with the 4-star, doing him up to the next level, but then I realized it's like, yeah, man, I probably need to hold on to some of that combat spark, and here's why. So let's see. I want to go look at these combat batches, because one of the things that, talking about getting prepared for HQ18, one of the things that I've been looking at really hard is these 5-star batches for combats. And I'll be honest with you, most of this batch, so we got 7 combats in this batch of 5 stars. It's just not appealing to me to try to go through a batch of 7 if I'm chasing after a particular combat. So when I look at this batch, so it's a lot of good ones in here that we can use. I certainly would want to get Singe. And I'm looking at them in order of how they appear. So Roller Force is the last one to enter the new batch. But we got Power Punch. I mean, I know a lot of people like Power Punch. I'm not really 100% sold. SG Ravage is nice to have. I don't have to have. Same thing with Slugfest and Heartburn. Baru, I don't dislike. I like the 32% increase in DPS more than anything. And so I assume that when they start breaking up batches again, I'm not going to go for Baru, but if Baru just happens to fall into my lap, I'm not going to be upset, because it's going to be a 32% increase for somebody. Roller Force, if you've seen my combat video before, I love. So, and then this new combat that we just started testing today, I think I'm going to like him too. Looking like it's going to be a companion type combat. So if Roller Force and Baru go into that batch, and with this new combat, and there's 2 other ones that are basically going to be focused on next gen damage, I'm probably going to go for that. So I'll be honest with you. Let's see. You can see how many combat chips I got right now. I've been holding on to for quite a bit, so I'll have enough for 2 after this event. I'm just gonna hold on to them until the batch just settle a little bit, because as much as I would like to go after Roller Force and a couple of those other guys, I'm not gonna do it while it's a batch of 7. I'll wait until it's a separate batch. Chris Truden says he wants SG Ravage and Roller Force. Yeah, I mean, I use SG Ravage and Roller Force right now. I actually use them on my healers that I put on my war team. So you can actually see on Hook, I got my 4-star Roller Force And then over on reflector, I got my SG Rabbit. So just extra stuff. I know a lot of times we just like to use like Shroot because it's a healer. So, I always look at the concept of taking things that your bot already does well and amplifying it. But I also like to try to get additional damage in there. And it looks like Kosh has joined the chat. Hey, thanks for stopping by, man. Hey, how you been doing? So yeah, man. That's what it's tough, man. When I go look at this batch and I look at a batch of 7, I think that whatever batch comes after, once they make the current batch, or they make it into a shorter batch, a batch of 5, I think the batch that comes out after that is going to be all next gen damage, all bots that eventually you're going to need for HQ18. That's my prediction. I might be wrong. I mean, it's going to be some of them that I continue to use, but a lot of combat bots and honestly, a lot of bots have dropped in my rankings since the game started getting harder. So, but before I go use any 5-star chips, they gotta break this up. 7 bots in the batch is just way too many for me. Matt Polly says the recent minion type combats are holding their mouths better than Night Stalker and Dow. Yeah, man, they really have been, man. So when you look at it, and you look at how we first started out, and you look at Legacy 1, man, Legacy 1 was, honestly to me, was a really, really good batch. A lot of them that I still use to this day. But when you look at the companion types, Ravage is in there. I only use Ravage really for one reason, and that's to use on Shattered Glass, not Shattered Glass, on regular Thundercracker, for outpost popping for sack. But then when you get the Legacy 2, Overkill's in there, man. That's not a really good combat, you know what I'm saying? When you get the Legacy 3, Bomb Shock's in there. I don't really need that. By the time you get around to Legacy 4, so you get Tunbot in there. Tunbot, if you didn't see, when I was doing my ranking video for combat bots, Tunbot can actually tear down the HQ 13s and 14s by itself. But yeah, man. So when we start looking around at the current batch, and you get like SG Ravage and stuff like that, yeah, man, those companion types have really made a comeback. So it's tough, man. It's tough not to go in there and knowing that I got enough chips to go get 1, and then later on this week 2 combat bots, but I'm gonna hold off. And so the combat bot conversations really got everybody talking. Lord Abex says Blowpipe is the bomb best in the batch. Like, I can't tell if you're being serious or not. Like, are you being serious about Blowpipe being the best in the batch? Because I know a lot of people hate Blowpipe, so that's why I asked the question. Not questioning you at all. I'll show you how I use Blowpipe, and I think he's. But I think he's joking. And let's see, Kosh said Legacy 1 is still the best in the batch, in his opinion. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I like Legacy 1 a lot. And, my ratings, when I did do my ratings on combat bots, it shows. You had a couple of them in there. But, okay, so Lord Apex was not joking. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about Blowpipe. Matt Polly says he's not the worst combat. All right, so let's talk about it. I'm gonna leave this server. Go to the lab for a second. I'm gonna pull up a test server. And we're gonna talk a little bit about Blowpipe then. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I use my blowpipe. And I probably showed you guys before, but all good. So right here, Nemesis Prime is one of the ways that I'm thinking about now. I might not stick to it. I do this on test server, and I'm planning for this for when I go get Nemesis Prime, hopefully next week on the live server. But I just really love that damage. That damage is almost at 1k DPS with blowpipe, 5-star level 10. Which I got the 5-star blowpipe. I just haven't maxed them all the way out yet because I wasn't sure how I was going to use them for war purposes. But what I will say is this: use correctly. If you use them with the correct bot, like a Nemesis Prime can protect himself. So as long as you don't have those FFD build bot cores around, then you can actually use him to get a nice little DPS boost. And he was like one of the original 32% damage boosters. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at in regards to that. So I'm actually going. The test server keeps freezing when I go to it keeps freezing when I go to Nemesis. So let me see if I can get back into the test server and actually run a demo. So furthermore, I can show you guys a little bit of what I've been working on. So I'm thinking about going straight walk team, and and I'm trying to include Nemesis Prime in that to try to see how I can work him when I actually get him on the live server soon. And so I'm gonna jump out of the camera and we'll take a look at that. Alright, Laura David says he was kidding. I was like, okay, cool. Because I know most people don't like him. And the biggest thing with blowpipe is the pathing aspect. And I'll show you real quick, just using them on here. I usually like to take him in a gunner, so I'll take Swindle, who I also got recently. Now, one thing I like with Nemesis Prime is the animations work really, really well. Because the animations allow him to kind of hang back a little bit. So even though here he kind of rushed ahead, he can tear up a lot of stuff really, really quickly with blowpipe. And that's one of the few damage boosters that Nemesis Prime can actually use. Now, Fracas you could use, but it's going to close his range up a little bit. Like I tried using Fracas on Nemesis Prime before, and it's not as good as if you were using it on a gunner. It's not as good as if you were using it on a aerial class bot. But because Nemesis Prime can protect himself, he wind up just having a heck of a damage boost. And so that's what I'm saying. You pair him up because, and here's my caveat: if you've got ability 11 on Nemesis, you bring him out there with a gunner and possibly a healer, and he tears stuff up pretty quickly. So you've been looking at a minute and a half for just that group of bots to kind of roll through, and then he finally died because I didn't use his ability in time. But at this point, the damage is pretty much done. So that's what I'm looking at using them for. Knowing that most people don't like them, but who knows? Maybe later in that batch, not the upcoming batch, but the batch after that, maybe something nice comes out of that. So that's what I'm looking at temporarily. You guys know how I do. I don't actually pull the trigger on a new bot. Or any bot unless I'm going to use them. So I can't invest heavily into blowpipe and I don't use them right away. So I think I got them at about level 5 or level 6 on the live server. And so that's all I'm saying. I think that when you use them in, with certain animations, I think it works all right. I think it works better than people give it credit for. I mean, and then you get wall damage. I think that, and you can kind of see my layout that I'm using where the walls are pretty much separated, so you don't usually need blowpipes and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If the walls are closed, then you can get through those walls quickly. And I'm not sure what HQ18 brings. Maybe they bring like super powerful walls or something. Who knows? But anyhow, I'm gonna actually run this whole team real quick because I'm trying to capitalize. I'm trying to see, just do more demos and do more tests myself on how I want to use knockout and how I want to use acid storm. And so, especially with the base, a lot of the bases being front loaded. So we'll take a look. So what I'll do here is I'm actually going to use Soundwave as my outpost popper. And got him up there with Pterodactyl and also the Quintus Prime Core. And knockout, I just love getting that additional damage, wearing down those not those combats, but those outpost bots. But I'm starting to like Swindle a little bit more than I like Brawl, just because that damage is absolutely devastating, and I'll show you that here in a minute. Kosh says that he uses 5-star blowpipe on Trigger Happy. That could be, I like that from a damage aspect. What I don't like is I don't like the range decrease that it causes for me personally in my playstyle. But I'd be curious to see how that works for you, because if it works, it works. That is that's a lot of damage coming from Trigger Happy. Chris Truden says blowpipe. He has blowpipe, but it's not on his A team. I think that's the case for most people, to be honest. I'm not going to sit up here and try to lie and be like, "Hey man, this dude is the meta," or anything like that. That's obviously not the case. But my point that I was making is just, he's usable. He's more usable than people make him out to be. But I think under the certain conditions. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, under certain conditions. Under certain conditions, I think he's usable. Kosh says that he uses the 5-star blowpipe on Trigger Happy to keep, because so Trigger Happy does have that problem when he hugs walls, and so he says that blowpipe keeps him from hugging walls. Which honestly, man, that really sucks, because Space Ape should just go out and fix the Trigger Happy wall hugging problem. Trigger Happy and 6-gun just get up there and constantly just hump walls or whatever, and it's not cool, especially when it's a bot that came out of the last 5-star batch. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the live server, and we'll take a look at other stuff that I'm working on. So I think for this week, at some point this week, I need to get this guy up to level 50. I just hadn't done it yet, but Acid Storm, absolutely, and he's really, really close. I gotta get him in the level 50, and I gotta get him in the research lab. In my research lab right now, I got 2 bots in there right now. Now I have not done my 3rd research lab slot. I'll be honest with you, I was scared too, because I wasn't sure when HQ18 was going to drop. But I got a couple of weeks. I might actually go in there and get that third research slot. But I got Swindle in there right now. So I got him going to level 51 so I can start working on leveling him a little bit. And I also have... Did I already skip by one? Oh, yeah, that's right. I know who I got in there. I got, now I'll show you guys. I got Crankcase in there for level 51 as well. So what I'm actually working on right now is I'm working on some 4 stars that I think might be helpful in HQ18. One of those I think is going to be Crankcase. You can see right now I got him his Engineer's Touch ability at level 1. But if I get into a situation when I need him, I keep a bunch of spark. Like you can see I got 3.8 million in spark right now, so I can carry him up to level 10. Well, not right now because I need to go actually stick my Energon in there. But yeah, you know, that's how I like to do my bots. When I'm actually going to use them, once I actually get them leveled, then that's when I go build up their abilities and such. And Crankcase is one of those bots that I've been high on just for the healing aspect and for the speed up aspect. And Gobex is a joint to chat, and he's laughing about SA Space Ape making a fix. But no, like I mean, it is funny at times. But I tell you what I see happening right now is I see Space Ape. So I'll talk to you a little bit about what they've talked to me about, and what they talked to me about is that they don't have the same contract that they had with Hasbro anymore, and that's why they're able to go do the 8-week sagas and stuff now. And that's helping them because they're not forced to push out content so quickly, even when it's not working properly. Now they actually have the opportunity to work on different fixes. So they got different developers working on fixes in addition to different developers working on HQ18, different developers working on war effects and stuff like that. So I think what you'll see over the course of next year is a much crisper game. I think you'll see less bug fixes needing to come through because they got more time, essentially, and they got a little bit more people than they had. Lord Agrippa has joined the chat, and he says hello to all Decepticons and Autobot scum. Hey, thanks for joining, man. So that's what I got in my research right now. Now, I'll tell you this. So when I was talking about some of the 4 stars, because Space Ape has been saying that they wanted you to have to go use more combos and such. And I was thinking about what 4 stars do I really like? And so I started looking at the aerial class, and I'm gonna tell you, really in no particular order, who I really like for the air class as a 4 star. And so you guys already know one of them. You know one of them is going to be Cutthroat. But I do think that the game is kind of passing him by. Like when you look at his stats, so 783.9 in damage, it's not bad, you know, and that's with all the different, just different stuff. But his base damage at 568, I'm just like, all right, I think that's 5-star time. Because when you go look at, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. When I go look at my test server, and I go look at a bot like Acid Storm, 4-star, maxed out, with like a 5-star fracas, 1034.7. And so I want to see a bot from that same class, that aerial class, to be able to match that. You know, so I think the 5-star is the way to be able to do that for Cutthroat. So I really like Cutthroat as a 4-star, but that damage has got to come up. I mean, to be honest, that health is good. It's good the way that it is. They got to do something with that damage. I think that's got to come up. Let's see. Let me go back into class. So when I look at air class, as a 4-star, a lot of people stopped using them, but I really like Dirge still, just for what he does. With a lot of front loaded bases out there, a lot of stuff's going to be, a lot of defenses are going to be grouped together, and I think that if you use them for the sole purpose of just hacking defenses and keeping pressure off of the rest of your team, I think that's pretty good. But yeah, I think I think he's really good as a 4-star still. I still use him in raids. I use him real heavily in farming. But if I got him up to this level, because I'm still on the test server, I got him maxed out. If I use him on this level, I could do a lot of damage with him as well. Chris Truden says Skywarp Night Raven for a 4-star. He's actually really powerful. I don't have him leveled up on the test server, but I've actually seen some really good openings with Skywarp Night Raven, and if I can get my hands on some of the videos from some of my teammates that use Skywarp Night Raven really well, I'll share it on my Discord server, because you'd be surprised what you can do with that bot. I just haven't had mine's long enough and leveled them up high enough to go use effectively, but that's definitely one of the ones that's on the list. Kosh agrees with me, says Dirge is a 4-star, is a mainstay on his war team. I said definitely that's one of the bots up there. And I think people got backed off of Dirge prematurely, because here's the reason why. When you go look at, not that one, that high frequency suppressor and the range that it can have, and I only got that one at level 15, but people just got scared, and I just said to myself, it's a build bot. Take it out. Just take out the build bot, and then sometimes you're gonna have to delay attacks, and then a lot of people just don't like that. They want to spam attacks like they did when they first got Dirge. And I know a lot of people that instantly were just like, I'm not using this bot. This bot is garbage now. They made a counter to him. My life sucks, like just stuff like that. But Action Will's another one. He says he got 5-star Dirge on his main team. So yeah, man, that's one of the ones when I look at aerial class that I really like. Let's see. Let's take a look at this dude, Skyhawk. Until Space Ape makes a legitimate ice counter, and even then it might still be good. But ice is one of those things that just does not have a counter. And so when I go, you know what, I'm gonna put Skyhawk. I'm gonna find a spot for him in this team. I'll take Acid Storm out. I'll put Skyhawk in. And so when we start talking in terms of combos, this is one of the best combos that you can actually get in the game right now, in my opinion. And you can use him as a 4-star. Now I've got him all maxed out on the test server, and I probably got him in the 50s on the live server. I'd still use him. I'd use him in War in a heartbeat if I got him somewhere and I saw. And this isn't the best example because it's not a lot of defenses that are clustered up, but if you got good ranged options, you're gonna get a good combo out of Skyhawk. Hell, if you get a good aerial class bot, and then that slowdown is so significant when used. Like that's one of my favorites. For if not my favorite right now is a 4-star air class bot, because you just get to clear out so much stuff. And a lot of people don't like support bots, but that slowdown, man, I'm telling you, until they counter slowdowns, it's a really big deal, man. And when you got some good gunners, some good ranged options behind you, that's that. Like you're not stopping Skyhawk. Yeah, Kosh says Skyhawk and trigger happy equals boom. Yeah, man, that's a real good one. And the thing is if you're one of the people, like I haven't pulled any bots from that batch, but if I did, it would definitely be. I would definitely want to have those two together. I'd use them together. I felt like that entire batch, most of them, you could actually run them on the team together. I think when that batch came out, I actually just ran them just as a team by themselves, just to show that it could be done. So obviously, I got other options. I'm not going to do that if I pulled them in a live server, but I would definitely use those two easily because of the damage. All right, so that's it. So I said Cutthroat, Dirge, Skyhawk, Acid Storm. Acid Storm I definitely want because I think he's going to combo well with Knockout. And I do want to use Knockout. I do want to introduce Knockout to my war team at some point. Just getting him when he's ready. Lord Agrippa says Acid Storm and Trigger seem good too. Yeah, Acid Storm and Trigger work really well. I mean, and to be honest, Trigger Happy has a really good overall damage, but there's fire damage that you can amplify off of Acid Storm's ability also. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Now, one bot that I really wish they would do a little bit more with is I wish they would do something with Thundercracker. Now, I'll tell you what, for me, and you guys have probably seen me do this before, but I love to go in there and stick Ravage on Thundercracker. And if I go catch one of those guys where their combiner outpost is really far back, then that's when I'll use that to pop Outpost. It just sucks because the timing on it is really, really gotta be great. But I tell you what, I would like to see, like say if I look at an outpost like back there. Now Impact I'm not really scared of. Astro Train I'm scared of a little bit because he'll follow you down and he'll stun you. So there are times when I'm in the game and I say, let me go get a long range outpost popper, and I'll use that 4-star version of Thundercracker. Now the only thing I hate about it is I'd like to go give him a combat that shoots over walls. I can't do both if I go use Ravage. But you gotta take what you can get. Man, Matt Polley agrees with me. He says you do the same thing with Air Razor on the HQ with Silverbolt. Yeah, I mean, same concept. And because now a lot of people, because they're scared of the sack strategy, they split their base. And that's exactly what they look at. That's exactly, I don't want to get hacked by Computron or anything like that. And a lot of times when you're looking at the replay, you might not even see Ravage at first. You won't even know what happened. But I really wish they would do a little bit more with Thundercracker, because I think, and here's what I think happened a while back ago in the game, because of Thundercracker's range. And a lot of the other aerial class bots range, they had a technique called air show, when all they would do was just go send a bunch of aerial class bots in and they would just attack the HQ. And so that's when we started getting shield generators, and that's when we started getting buffs to the power cores, to try to, the adaptive shield and power cores, to try to combat the fact that people were doing that. But that, and the fact that at level 10, hell, even level 9 really, for that time period, you could take out most defenses easily. And I think that he got kind of lumped into that category of being overpowered. And a lot of times once Space Ape lets a bot fall into that category, they never go back and rework them and balance them. But I think that this time, I think he deserves ability 11. I don't know what that would look like for me. Now, there's some bots I have ideas for their ability 11s. Like I put some good ones together before. I was the one that came up with the concept for like Run Amok. I'm trying to think of who else I came up with an ability 11 for. Like I came up with the concept for SG Thundercracker, but that wasn't an ability 11. That was just his regular ability. But yeah, well, as far as his holograms, not the actual concept itself. But I think, yeah, I don't know what would you put on an ability 11 for the Thundercracker? Because I'll tell you what, if you guys have good ideas for any bots and they're working on that particular bot, I'll share those ideas with Space Ape. They usually ask us, to be honest, they'll ask, well, what do you think will make a good ability 11 for this particular bot? So if you got good ideas, share them in the stream, share them in my Discord server, and if that bot gets chosen for ability 11 and I think it's a good idea, I'll share it with Space Ape, honestly, and I'll give you all the credit for it. I don't never take credit from anyone. Let's see. Chris Truden says he could Sonic Boom in a line like Starscream's ability 11 with fire. Matt Polly says give Thundercracker maybe an AoE stun, similar radius to Blade's hack. I actually do like both of those ideas. I really like a AoE stun. You got to watch out for build bots, but like I already told you guys earlier, that's not really a big deal to me, at least. So yeah, I think if you gave him that same range, AoE, I think that would be pretty cool. Lord Agrippa says Electric Crimzeek on kill. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I think, man. So that's what I think. I think that Thundercracker. I think that's my 5: Cutthroat, Dirge, Skyhawk, Thundercracker, Acid Storm, and honorable mention until I get to play with it more. Honorable mention to Skywarp Night Raven. All right, so I knew this question or I knew this comment would come up eventually today. I already talked to a couple of people about it. So Mike Robertson says, if they're asking, they need to make me official. So I'll tell you this. I actually had a conversation. I had a conversation with Lord Avix today about the just the state of the official content creator program and basically what's going on with as far as me getting that status. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to wait before I address it again. I'm going to let these guys get through building HQ18 and everything like that, because right now it's been kind of hectic. I think my time is definitely coming to be official, and like I actually have people at least once or twice a week kind of inbox me and say, hey man, they need to make you an official creator and stuff like that, just because we don't have any on the Decepticon side. Now I know, including other content creators, there's been a lot of people advocating for me. I'm just gonna play it cool for a little bit until they actually have a little slow period after the HQ18. I just feel like it's kind of the wrong time to ask. I'd like to see 2 Decepticons. I'd like to see myself in Deception from his channel over to Punish and Enslave, just because he just gives out a lot of really, really good advice, and I think like everybody needs to hear some of that stuff. And I've actually talked to him about it before, so we've been kind of advocating for each other. So hopefully one or both of us gets it soon. I think Space Ape just needs to have the time to just go in there and look into little small things like that. So that's what I'm looking at from that aspect. But alright guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. So I gotta see how I want to proceed for the rest of this week, just because Space Ape is gonna have some exciting news, I think, on their stream tomorrow. Depending on what they present, I may make another video by the end of the week. If not, I'll just make that video on Monday. But Monday or Tuesday, just depends on how things go. But yeah, man. So definitely check out the Space Ape stream tomorrow, guys. I think it's gonna be a really big one. I think it's gonna answer a lot of your questions about what's happening with HQ18. So check them out tomorrow, and of course check me out tomorrow. And if you're not subscribed, please do so, because I've been looking through my metrics a little bit lately, and about 66% of the people watching are not subscribed. But that's the easiest way to never miss any content. Like I said, I love talking to you guys, and yeah, I mean it's pretty full house in here today. So I really appreciate you guys and all that you do for the community and all your support that you guys have for me to trying to become official. I appreciate that too, man. So, but anyway, I'll check you guys out. If you guys are on my Discord, which I'll leave the link for that in this video, I'll keep you updated on what's coming next in terms of videos, because I'm depending on what Space Ape does, I may very well make something later on in the week. But alright, man, I'm gonna go ahead and take off, and I'll see you guys later, and I will see you